Welcome to the Waylight. Today's passage for the reflection is taken from the Gospel according to St. John, chapter 20, verses 11 to 18. In all the resurrection narratives, we find a kind of common theme of the difficulty that the disciples are facing in order to understand Jesus. They always misunderstood the risen Lord. Some misunderstood Jesus, the risen Lord, as a stranger, some as a ghost, and in today's gospel passage we see that the Mary Magdalene misunderstood Jesus as a gardener. And in all these incidents, towards the end we find that they understood Jesus at a point of time. What is that moment? We know two disciples were moving from one place to another to Emmaus. So on the way, Jesus also took part in their journey. And then they misunderstood Jesus as a stranger. And towards the end of their traveling, they welcomed Jesus for the supper. And Jesus took the bread during the supper. He took the bread and blessed it and gave them to the disciples. So from that moment, from the table fellowship, they understood that this is not a stranger. This is the person whom we know the most. He is our own master. So that was the time when they realized Jesus. With regard to the misunderstanding Jesus as a ghost, let us come to that incident. How did they understood Jesus, the risen Lord, as their own master? There is a particular moment in which Jesus said, "Do not be afraid." By hearing that, they understood that this is their master, because while Jesus was alive, while Jesus was with them, then most of the times Jesus said the same word to the disciples: "Do not be afraid." So from that particular situation, they understood Jesus, the risen Lord, as their own master. This is no more a ghost, but this is our master. What happens in today's gospel passage? Mary Magdalene misunderstood Jesus as a gardener, and how she found that this is not a gardener but her own master. Because Jesus called Mary by her name. When he called her name, he might have smiled, and she just went back to the experiences. And she might have experienced the way of calling of Jesus with the smiling face. The same experience she got into. So she understood that this is her master. So in all these three aspects, we see a kind of memory. They went back to their past, and they understood that this is their master. When we realize today's gospel passage, we have to understand certain things with regard to our experience. We need to mold our experience of God. We always think that we don't have any experience of God. We consider Jesus as his own disciples. We misunderstand the risen Lord, sometimes as a stranger, sometimes as another person. But this is not so, not anymore. We have to go back to our experiences. We have to understand the experiences, the deep and concrete experiences when we experienced God in a deep and strong manner, in a concrete manner, in an intimate way. We have to understand that experience, and we have to love God, and we have to believe in Jesus Christ, believe in the resurrected Christ. Thus, we will be able to follow Jesus in a deep manner. After all these experiences, the disciples and Mary Magdalene followed Jesus vehemently. They preached the word of God vehemently. So today we have to go back with our memories. Let us go back to our past and let us meditate upon the experiences, in which situation we experience God in a deep manner. Thus, we will be able to understand the love of God. That will help us to understand the risen Lord, experience the risen Lord more and more. That will help us to preach the word of God in a deep manner. Let us all pray for this grace. May God bless us all.